Hey, what's up? This is Jhene Aiko, and you're watching Hard Knock TV.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Wake up. Gotta get this paper, get this cake up. Gotta do my hair, gotta put on makeup. Gotta act like I care about this fake stuff, straight up.
Let's take it back a while.
Okay.
Can you tell me what your first, whatever memory you remember first for music?
My first music memory, it would probably be, I know it was something 90s R&B, 90s hip hop. I just remember like in elementary, I think The Chronic was out, and there was a lot of TLC and Brandy, Aaliyah on the radio.
How did growing up in LA, and particularly in a mixed race household, influence you?
I think growing up in a mixed race household and in LA sort of just kept my mind open to different things and different types of people and different food and different music. You know, I never just looked at things from one side just because I grew up around so many different types of people.
Do you remember what in particular made you want to sing?
I don't remember exactly what made me want to sing. I just know that it was like something that I naturally was drawn to. And I think in the second grade, I did a talent show, me and my best friend. And after, people were coming up to me and like just saying that it was really good. And it just made me sort of start thinking of it a lot more. Like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe I could do this one day.
Do you remember what you performed by any chance?
Yeah, it was Stilo by 702.
I want to talk to you about Tupac, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I feel like when I listen to the album, there's certain bits and pieces that kind of remind me a little bit. Growing up, is that somebody that played a role at all?
Living in LA, the radio in the 90s especially was like full of Tupac and Snoop and, you know, Dr. Dre. And so he's someone that I just knew about, but when I got older, and I think Tupac Resurrection, the movie, really made me like really interested about like learning about him, the man, and not just the rapper. And once I did that, I was like completely like obsessed. Like I got all his poetry books and just would read and watch his interviews, and it became about him and not even the music, even though like, you know, obviously I love his music also. But I don't know, he just inspired me to have a true message in the music and not be afraid to, you know, have a song about one thing and then have a song about another thing that may not, you know, go hand in hand. You know, he has inspirational songs and then he has his songs about getting around. You know what I mean? So it's like, but all of us are multi-dimensional like that. And I think people are just so afraid to like be human that it's just like you can't really connect to it, because it's like, we know you're not perfect, like, or we know you're not this badass 100% of the time, like you're a human. So I think he was a great example of just being a human being and saying what was on his mind, and that's what I do.
Which side, this side, you should switch sides. I'm not acting like a bitch side, by the way. You need to switch sides right away.
We could live forever, maybe die today.
Love side, hate side, never in between. That's what we stand for, y'all fall for anything. West side, by the way. Live forever for love, or you can die today.
I actually worked your first single.
Oh, wow.
No Love. I used to work at Sony for Street Teams.
That's crazy.
Take me back to that time for a little bit. Was the fact that that situation didn't quite pan out, did that kind of disappoint you on the industry side of music, or how did you feel about things?
At the time, I wasn't really focused on music like that. I wasn't focused on being an artist or creating. And so to me, it was just like all fun, and, you know, I didn't have any expectations, you know, and I asked my mom to get me out of those contracts because I just wanted to focus on school and finishing high school and just, you know, live a regular life. It was fun, but it was also something that I just felt like, you know, I will always want to sing and write, you know, so I knew that it was always going to be there, and it was just more so of me wanting to just focus on school, you know.
Tell me a little bit about that time when you weren't putting out music. You were still writing music, but you weren't putting it out. What was that like?
During that time, I was still writing. I was working with a lot of the producers that I had met like throughout that time of me being signed, whether it be like writing or demo songs or you know, just recording new songs with them. This was probably around like the MySpace era, and then once I got my laptop and got GarageBand, then I started putting stuff out myself. Like randomly, I would just create a song and then put it on MySpace.
Around that time, or maybe a little later, I would see like you being connected to TDE camp a lot. Did you ever think about signing with them before you found the No ID situation?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It was all about finding the right situation where it was like, you know, being in control of my, you know, of my music and myself, you know. My music is myself, so it didn't always feel right with the different meetings I was taking to just sign with them, because I didn't know what they were going to do with my vision, you know, or if they were going to acknowledge that I actually had a vision. So, you know, with TDE, like we're family, like we're going to work together, you know. But yeah, just when I met with No ID, it was just like everything felt right.
I remember reading or seeing something that there was a meeting where you felt like the label was trying to get you to be something that you didn't want to be, and that kind of became the inspiration for the album titles. Can you tell me a little bit about that meeting and what they were asking from you that you felt very uncomfortable with?
Yeah, I was pregnant at the time, and I was recording, and I was just like, okay, you know, I wasn't really focused on it, but it was something that I knew I wanted to keep doing. And so I took this meeting, and I don't know if it was because of like my pregnancy hormones or just because at this point I was just sort of like jaded by the whole like going to the record label meeting and like put on a show for them. But I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna go in and be myself and play them songs and be very me, which is like chill, laid back. So this was someone that had been a fan, you know, of the earlier stuff when I was younger. So he, you know, after listening to everything and talking, he's just like, yeah, you know, I'm a fan, but I just feel like when you come into these meetings, you have to sell yourself. And I was just like, no, I don't. Like, you know, either you get it or you don't. So I'm not gonna do anything extra to make you believe, you know what I mean? It's like, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. So that sort of just was my mindset for the whole, you know, time that I did my mixtape and was meeting with people after that. And I think now that's something that more labels are looking for, like people that are really truly comfortable being themselves. Because before it would be that, you know, you have to jump on the table and do cartwheels and flips, and it's like, this isn't the circus. So
how did that meeting inspire the titles for your EP and your mixtape and then now the album?
Yeah, so I just kept that in mind, like that conversation with him. And then one day on Twitter, I misspelled sale. I was saying like something was on sale, but I said SELL or something like that. And my friend Chasing Cash tweeted me like, oh, you mean sell? And he like put the right sell. And then I just started playing with those words like in that moment in my mind, like, oh, there's so many different ways, you know, sell, it sounds like sale, like selling souls. Oh, and then just, I love wordplay. So yeah, ever since then, I've just been seeing how else I can play with those words and that theme of sailing, not selling.